Up next, we have another amazing speaker in artificial intelligence. This speaker will talk about AI after 50, confidence, pivoting, and power moves. Holding a Ph.D. in communications, media, and instructional technology with over 2 decades in training and instructional design as CEO of The Speaker, LLC. Now an AI consultant, she helps women, especially those over 50, embrace AI as a tool for confidence and reinvention. After pivoting in her own career, she teaches hands-on AI training that makes technology accessible. Let's welcome Dr. Malaika Turner. So join me in the comments as we welcome our next speaker.
Welcome, everyone. Happy Thursday to you. Listen, I'm so excited to be here on today to kick this thing off. I hope you're ready to learn. Somebody put learn in the chat. If you're ready to learn, we're going to learn today. All right. So the first thing I want to do before we move any further is I want to let you know that the views and the tools shared in this presentation are mine. They are my own and are not endorsed by the AI Insight Summit. So I wanted to get that out of the way. Again, my name is Malaika Turner. I'm the CEO of The Speaker, LLC. I am also the founder of Go Be Great and Be Nothing Less. And I'm excited to be an AI consultant. Today, I want to talk with you about AI after 50, and that's the age of 50. And we're going to talk a little about confidence, pivoting, and making some power moves. Put a 1 in the chat if you've had to make a power move in the last month, or 6 months, 3 months. You've had to make some changes, and you've had to do some things that you know are going to change your life. And so I just want to start out with this, which I think is very interesting. In 2025, a net of 338,000 women, they left the workforce. And that's a trend that began early. And guess what? I experienced it. In 2023, I experienced it myself. When I realized that my position was eliminated, I walked into a meeting, it was about a 15-minute meeting, and found out that my position would be eliminated. I had worked at this particular institution of higher education for 25 years, and in the matter of 15 minutes, I was gone. I was the assistant vice president for student affairs. I was excited. I loved working with students. And I was that person who worked hands-on to help students to transition, to help students to make their way and to navigate various pivots, to help them strategize and to help them get to this place, to what you see today, right here, that graduation point. But I was angry. And I was experiencing an unexpected pivot. I was sad. I was isolated. I felt lonely. I felt betrayed. And all of these things, I was like, now I need some help. But I said, Lord, you know what? Because, I had to pray. Come on, somebody say pray in the chat. Sometimes you got to pray, right? You got to go back. And I said, let me pray about this. And I said, Lord, I have a degree. Right. And I've got the resume. It's stacked. It's ready to go. So it's like, well, I got what I need. But how many of you know that sometimes you have what you need, but you still feel cloudy? You still feel like you can't see your way. Is that you out there? Sometimes you feel like I still can't see my way. I have all these things in place, but I feel like I can't see my way. And that was me. And I had to make a decision. I had to figure out, am I going back into higher education, or am I going to do something totally different? And I made a decision. I made a decision, y'all, to pivot. I made a decision that I was going to do something totally different, reach down inside of myself and tap into that very thing that I knew was in me for the last 25 years. But I stayed with what was comfortable and I stayed with what made sense to me. But now the moment has arrived and I made a decision. Somebody put in the chat, sometimes you got to be committed to the pivot. I was committed to the pivot. You know, the pivot looks unstable. It doesn't look familiar. It looks uncomfortable, but you've got to be committed to the pivot. And so interestingly enough, God has a funny sense of humor. I just love him so much. In 2021 or two, I had connected with Alicia and Lorette in a workshop or a summit, and I was taking notes and going back and forth with the person that I was talking to. And I was like, oh, this is great. This is great. But I didn't follow through because sometimes you don't follow through and you don't follow up and you miss that opportunity. And then in 2025, that opportunity came back again. And I connected up with AI, with Alicia and Lorette, and they began to teach us things about how we can make a difference and make an impact and make change with AI. And suddenly things clicked. That degree in communications, media, and instructional technology, it clicked in with what they were saying. That drive on the inside, it clicked. That entrepreneurial person on the inside that was waiting to be birthed, it clicked. And suddenly it hit me. It hit me. Somebody say, it hit me. Suddenly it hit me. Ever had that experience where suddenly like you finally you got it. It hit me. Suddenly I realized I don't want women who have lost their jobs or who will lose their jobs. I don't want them to experience not having something that they can bounce things off, that they can process through. Because if you don't have a good girlfriend to talk to, I wanted something that I can create with AI, something I could partner. And the wonderful thing that we learn is that our human selves, our God-given brilliance, accompanied with our AI knowledge and the tools that we learn, we can make a difference. And so I want to just show you a little bit of what I did. I said, you know what? Let's take our experience and let's take what we've been learning and let's create what I call the pivot ready AI career transition coach, right? It's a pivot ready AI transition coach. It's a career transition and confidence building AI coach for women facing unexpected or intentional change, helps you process layoffs, burnouts, retirement, identify your strengths, explore new paths, and create practical next move plans with clarity instead of panic. This is all with AI. There's four things that you can choose from wherever you relate. And today, for the sake of time, we've got a demo. We chose, should I go back to my 9 to 5 or should I start my own business? Because sometimes that's the thinking. So when you select that, it takes you to some conversation here. Let's go back and forth. It'll share with you a statement that says, "Hey, listen, this question sounds like safety versus freedom, identity versus reinvention, exhaustion versus possibility." And the fact that you're asking it tells me that you're standing at a point of crossroad. And isn't that you or somebody you know who has lost their job unexpectedly and you're in this crossroad? Well, the thing that the Pivot Ready will do is it will always start with an emotional check-in. Let me see how you doing. How you doing, girl? You know what I'm saying? It'll say, how are you doing? Is this stability? Are you craving autonomy, meaning, relief from the grind? What is it? What is it that you need right now? What are you feeling right now? And it will always check in with you. And then it will say, listen, this is hard, but you're capable of choosing wisely for the reason right now of your life. It will also reframe the question that you selected. So I selected, should I go back to my 9 to 5 or start a business, right? But it'll reframe for you and ask you, what level of risk, energy, or identity stretch can I truly support? It'll reframe the question that you selected and give you something more to think about. It will also just kind of give you that opportunity to say, since you selected two different options, let's go through those options. And I love this about chat. Like, this is what I love about partnering with ChatGPT, especially. This is probably my favorite tool, is that we can go back and forth and whatever I put in, whatever my input, it will share some output that resonates with you, right? And so it talks about options. Option 2, do you want to start your own business? It'll talk to you about what that means. If you want to start your own business, are you energized by ownership, even with uncertainty, right? Do you have a problem that you want to solve? That thing burning on the inside of you, is that something that you want to explore, right? Recognizing that there's also that third option, which could be a middleman, right? That middle path, right? Maybe you want to go back to a 9 to 5 and do a little bit of your your side business, some consulting, some contract or part-time roles, or a portfolio career. So it kind of takes you through processing back and forth with ChatGPT without any judgment, right? So that human feel is still in there. It's still input that was shared, that I've shared, but it allows you to walk through. It allows it to walk through with you. And if you're a woman who's 50 or over, or even 40, and you have had an unexpected change in your life, sometimes you just need to process without hearing too much more from others, but you just want to process through and think this thing through. If that's you, come on, put a one in the chat. Like, I know sometimes I just want to process through. I just want to think through this thing. I don't necessarily need to have a lot of conversation, but maybe you know someone who has been through this experience. And so what it will do is give you three different steps, right? Number two is your clarity step. It'll share with you, let's do something this week to provide some level of clarity. What gives you energy? What drains you? And the third thing is your action step, right? It gives you one thing that you can do. You want to apply for one aligned role or test one business idea, all right? Tap into that business idea that's within you, okay? And then we can continue on. And it'll ask you, listen, was this transition intentional or was it unexpected? Let's tap into that. What's your biggest worry about making the wrong choice? Because sometimes, y'all, we want to do something and we don't know the choice. If I do this, is it the wrong choice, right? So what we did for the sake of the demo, we said, my transition was unexpected. How many of you have had an unexpected change? Unexpected, right? Something just threw you off, right? I'm worried that I won't be courageous, right? I mean, that's right. I love that. Y'all know unexpected changes in your life. I see you in the chat. I'm worried about that I won't be courageous enough to step out on faith and do what it is what's inside of me. So I put that in, and then chat comes back. Says, thank you for saying that out loud. What you share tells me a lot about the shock you've been through and the depth of what's inside of you. So there's still more inside of you, right? And your change didn't shake up your finances. It shook up your confidence. It shook up your trust. It shook up your identity. And all of these things are addressed. And what I love about the Pivot Ready Transition Coach is it taps back into your emotion. Come on, sometimes you need somebody to tap in. Come on, somebody say tap in. I need somebody to tap into my emotion, right? And to see how I'm doing. And then provide a gentle reframe. So because I said that courage was one of those key points in my last response, it taps into courage. Courage is not a personality trait. It's not about what you have or don't have. It's more about a muscle, right? And it's not that you don't have it, but it's probably tired right now. Most women don't fail to step forward because of lack of courage. They hesitate because they've been responsible for such a long time. They're afraid of financial or emotional fallout, right? So when you don't have that constant paycheck coming every 2 weeks, who's going to catch you? Come on here. You know what I mean. Who's going to catch you? And so, here's the truth. You don't need courage for the whole future. You need enough for the next honest step. You just need to make one step. You just need enough courage for the next step. And it'll break that down for you, right? I had shared about stepping out on faith. Or is it taking grounded, faithful steps, right? It talks about this whole idea of having that faith, quit stability overnight. Okay, you're not being asked to prove anything to anyone. You're being invited to trust yourself 1 inch at a time. Test what's in you. Listen, can I say this to you? This is not on the script, but don't ignore the very brilliance that God placed inside of you. Tap into it. I can't say that enough. Tap in. Tap in. It is there waiting to be activated and waiting to be used. And so once again, when we go back to the Pivot Ready tool, ChatGPT will give you 3 different steps. The second is the clarity step. Ask yourself, where have you been courageous in your life? Right? And you didn't really call it courage, but it really was courage. And then it'll talk with you a little bit about some execution. So what do I need to do next? Somebody said, what's next? What do I need to do next? Do I need to talk with a safe person? Do I need to do a one paragraph description of the work I feel pulled towards? Right? So that one last thing, I need to figure out what is next for me. If faith is a part of your life, here's a gentle truth. Stepping out on faith doesn't mean you won't be afraid. It means you move with the fear, not waiting for it to disappear. Now, I probably would have told Chad, now, Chad, the scripture says we don't have fear, so I'm not buying that. But that's just me having a little fun with Chat GPT, right? But we do recognize that at times we take some steps that we're uncertain about, and that is real. And ChatGPT kind of walks you through, lets you know a few things about what you said, but at the very end, what I love is it says, "I'm here with you. I am here with you." So these are the power moves that we can make. I don't care how old you are, if you've got the drive, the brilliance, come on here, and you've got enough courage to step out and sit in and learn a little bit of AI, you can take a tool and you can fuse it together with your brilliance and create something that's going to make an impact. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you all for being here today for the AI Insight Summit, kicking it off today on this Thursday. Listen, I want to connect with you. As you can see on the screen, this is my LinkedIn page. I want you to definitely message me. Whatever we do is message inbox. So many things we do, but I want to connect with you. I want to hear from you. And I want you to take the freebie. There's a QR code. Click on the QR code for a freebie. Have a little fun, and you'll get a little something neat. Some prompts that are going to help you as you make some power moves. There's a few prompts that will help you in your movement forward. So thank y'all so much. I appreciate you. I am so grateful to have this opportunity. Once again, thank you, Alicia and Lorette and the whole team who worked hard to get this thing through. And thank you so much. And hey, to my speaker cousins, we got this. Thank you.